Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Meta Cafe. Grab your cup of coffee, your tea, and let's talk about the weekend. It's Friday, and it's Friday of a 3-day weekend. That's exciting. We haven't had a 3-day weekend in a while. And I think we should have 3-day weekends all the time. That's just my thing. I think we should always have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or a Sunday or Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It would certainly make our willpower centers much happier, right? We would have less production going on. A big shout out and thank you to everybody who participated in last or yesterday afternoon's 3-hour long webinar on the human design energy centers. It was never my intention to go for 3 hours. I don't know what happened to the time. That's the testament to an open spleen. In my open spleen, totally not connected or grounded in time. But it was lovely being able to share this information with everyone. People were asking wonderful questions, and I hope everyone got a lot out of it. So here's a little snafu I ran into. I thought that the link that I provided everybody who registered was going to give you the access to the recording. And apparently that isn't the case because I didn't set it up to go to the cloud. I set it up to go to my computer. So I now have to produce the video. Loads of fun. As soon as I get that done, which I hope will be sometime this afternoon, I will alert everybody that the recording is available and you'll be able to get it and just download it directly to your computers or to your phones, probably from Dropbox or Google Docs or something like that. It's going to be a big file, so I got to figure out which one is going to allow me to put that big of a file out there. So again, thank you all for attending live. And for those of you who knew you weren't going to be making it live but wanted the link, I will make sure that gets out there to you. It'll most likely, like I said, be in Dropbox or in Google Docs. I'll post it here on Facebook and let you know when it's ready. Anyway, it was a wonderful time. I really got a sense about how deeply interested people are in their human design charts. And that just made me feel really good, right? Because I know how exciting it is. I know how wonderful of a tool it is. And given the opportunity to share from that depth with people, it was pretty fun. I think at this point, what I want to do, because there was so much more I could have shared, just so much more. I mean, I found myself halfway through having to cut out some things because I really wanted to be able to get through all of the centers, which meant then I didn't get to go into depth with each of the centers like I wanted to. So alert, there's probably going to be some kind of course, some kind of individualized center recording or something coming up because it was too much, right? Just too much all at one time. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Mimi. I'm feeling a little sleepy-ish, not sleepy, tired, drunk out, maybe a little bit today. I know it's because I put so much energy out there yesterday doing this. And in the preparation of it, you don't realize how much work goes into it until you're like 30 minutes before you go and you're still writing notes. And I've been working on it for weeks. It's too funny. So I was over prepared. I had too much information. And now I feel like, wow, there's so much more I could have said. And maybe I will continue to say that later on. We shall see. Good morning, Michelle. And let's see, Debbie says, the class was awesome. Hope you'll do it again because I got interrupted. Oh, yes, Debbie. And besides that, you will have the recording so you could pick up from where you left off. I just have to get that, like I said, produced out today. And it may take a while because, like I said, it was when I hung up and I looked up at the clock and realized my husband was home. He'd had time to make dinner. And it was 7 p.m. and we started at 4. That's amazing. Just amazing to me. And I'm not sure how, but my manifestors, my projectors, and even a reflector hung in there till the end. It was just amazing. So today, yes, you're welcome, Debbie. And so anybody else who didn't get to listen, so let me just say that because people are popping in and may not have heard this. If you did not get to listen yesterday, the link that I provided does not automatically go to the recording. And that was my bad because I didn't record it to the cloud. I recorded it to my computer. So now it's my responsibility to take it and produce it. And I will alert you when I'm done with that so that everybody can. It's already on my computer. I saw it. It was there this morning. So all I have to do is take it and drop it somewhere for you all. And I will let you know. So here we are on Friday. Not only do we have a weekend, we have a 3-day weekend, and we also have it being the last day of the month. So we have opportunity now to get to take a look ahead and see what September will bring. And I can't even believe that I'm sitting here talking about the month of September. Kind of crazy, right? That's the 9th month of the year. And wasn't it only yesterday that it was January? Ay, ay, ay. The days and months and weeks, years fly by. And then when I think back to all the things that have happened this year, I mean, it's been kind of a crazy, busy year. No wonder it seems to have flown by. So, taking a look at today, Friday, the moon is in the sign of Taurus, giving us a feeling of sensual pleasures, the sights, the smells, the touch, being very in a sense, very sensible, sensual, and all of the words that you can put sense in, as the sun is also in a trine today with the moon. That's a smooth flow of energy. Our emotional self is very much supported by all of the creature comforts, right? Just soft pillows, sitting back and relaxing with a hot cup of coffee or a cup of tea, getting out and letting the wind blow on your face. This is a day for those kinds of creature comforts, let's call it. Um, there could be a tendency to overdo creature comforts. So, those little ice cream things, what do they call them? Dibs, dobs, whatever, and little bonbons. A few of those is a good thing, but a lot of them, not such a good thing. So, a tendency to overindulge as well today, but try to temper that and just sit in the moment of joy and pleasure in those simple things in life. The moon is also in a sextile to Neptune today. So while you are relaxing and enjoying the sights, the smells, the feels, the touches, um, also be tuning in through your intuition as to what is it that the world is trying to tell you. What information is coming through the screen of your spirit and down into your physical body, and what does that mean for you? And, I don't know what it is because I haven't been able to put my finger on it, but today is a terribly lousy day, technologically speaking. My computer didn't want to work this morning. I tried to put up my Be Live link at before 7. I like to get it out before 7, so everybody has about an hour's worth of notice. 7 my time, 10 East Coast time. And I couldn't get it done. I mean, to tell you, either it wasn't linking up with Facebook, so I couldn't broadcast it to my page. I don't know. It was so frustrating that finally I just like took my papers and I threw them and I went on and did something else. I went and got in the shower. Maybe a shower would cool down my temper and make my computer start working better. So I come back to my computer and it's working. And my son says, "Hey, Mom, did you make your reservation yet to come over to the island? Because we have to reserve our space on the ferry." And I went, "Oh, yeah, I could do that at 7. It was 7:15. So I tried to do that. Do you think the app would work on my phone? No, no. It suddenly didn't recognize who I was. It's on my phone and it doesn't recognize who I am. Really? So then I'm sitting there getting frustrated because I still have to get my hair done, put my makeup on, get the information all together for everybody today, and plus try to play with this and get my reservation so that I can get on this ferry to go over to Friday Harbor to see my son this weekend. I still don't know, people, whether I have a reservation or not, because I made the reservation, then I checked to see if it was there and it wasn't. So, I mean, I made the reservation again, and then when I went to check to see if the reservation was there, it wouldn't take me to the site. So I'm like, "Oh, I give up. I'll deal with that later." So, technologically, something is going on here in the background. Could be hangover from the void of course moon yesterday. It could be just, not the moon in Taurus doesn't necessarily support technology. Who knows? But if you're having problems with your tech today, you're in good company. And there may be tomorrow the sun in Taurus begins to square Mercury, which is still in Leo. And it may be that I'm just sensitive enough, or my equipment is just sensitive enough, it's picking that up. But Saturday, of all of the days in the three of the weekend, seems to be the one that might have the most irritation attached to it. And even at that, it's not a huge irritation. Monday, the moon all day in Taurus. So we still have that feely, touchy, good, sensual sort of feeling going on. The moon is in an opposition to Jupiter. And there again, as it lines up with Jupiter, we have that tendency to want to overdo, overindulge, to take care, everything, in its right amount. Including exercise, food, sex, anything, right? Just keep it all in the manageable category. The moon will also be trine Pluto. There is one of the little scritchinesses of the day, Saturday, where there's this very powerful undercurrent, emotional undercurrent going on. And if you're tapped into it, if you are emotionally open and you're an empath, you may be tapped into this disconcerting energy, but not knowing where it's coming from. It could be coming from the collective, it could be coming from your partner, it could be coming from just the group of people you happen to be out and about with. So watch for that tomorrow. Because also with the moon squaring Mercury, the tendency would be maybe to speak and say things out of anger or spite when you don't necessarily act like that usually. So you might want to just keep your lip zipped if there's something that's bothering you. Don't project it outward onto other people. On Saturday, the moon is also trining Mars that day. It makes it real easy to get into and drawn into other people's conflicts and dramas. So just kind of stay cool, right? Be cool, stay in the background if you can. Remember, it's the feel good day. It's a feel good time. Let's not get into the what is it? Byron Katie says there's my business, your business, and God's business. Stay in your business on Saturday. Don't get into anybody else's business. Um, the moon tomorrow night, 10:57 p.m., moves void of course, and it will be that way until 1:02 a.m. on Sunday morning. And that's because the moon will be in the latter degrees of Taurus tomorrow night, and on Monday or Sunday morning moves into the sign of Gemini. Now the party gets going, right? This is an on the go, sociable sort of moon, and you can expect to have a pleasant day talking with people, maybe gathering with family or friends, or in other ways being out and about. I know there's a couple of different state fairs going on here in our state, so probably in other places around the country. There are a lot of things to do. Sunday's your day, right? Sunday's the day to get out there and just enjoy the fruits of the weekend, the fairs, the art galleries, the whatever, right? Just go to the beach, be with people. It is a very sociable sort of day. Sunday also happens to be September 2nd, and that is the day, my friends, that Venus moves into her retrograde zone. So let me give you the dates again for this just in case. Remember, I told you to take notes, but who knows if you did or not, but now do. September 2nd, Venus enters the retrograde zone at 25 degrees Libra, and she is preparing as she'll begin to slow down as she approaches her retrograde degree, which will be 10 Scorpio on October 5th. And she will stay retrograde from October 5th until November 16th, at which point she will be back at 25 degrees Libra, where she will be on Sunday. And then she'll change directions and leave the retrograde zone on December 17th. So we have this, fairly elongated period of time where our money, where our values, where our relationships are all under the microscope. Good morning, Tina. And for those of you whose birthdays fall from October 19th to November 3rd, in your solar returns, this is going to be reflected as in a theme for you consistently throughout your year is going to be based in Venus's retrograde zone. Even though she'll change directions, your birthday falling in those days where she is in that retrograde zone puts the spotlight for the whole year for you on relationships, values, money, etc. Everything ruled, bringing harmony to your life, everything that's ruled by Venus. And of course, all of you know who have been here in the mornings with me over the last few weeks, we've been talking about Venus through the gene keys and looking at where she is, because she happens to be sitting for the entire period of time now through December in the gates of the spleen, which, as we heard about last night, takes us to intuition, health, time, but is also based in survival energy. And in survival energy, it takes us into fear. So Venus is triggering every one of those gates over the next few weeks, the next couple of months. And we have been dealing with looking ahead to see, what does that mean for us? What is the shadow that we're going to be dealing with? What are the gifts and what are the siddhis, the highest expressions that we are trying to birth into this reality? As we let go of the shadow, or as we release the shadow and face the gift, we're able then to begin to change the face of the planet, and of course affecting all of the people around you in your own life. So that's happening on Sunday. On Monday, we have the moon in Gemini still. So we still have that sociable sort of day going, right? It's still a pleasant day. Mercury will be in a sextile to Venus. Sextile meaning an even exchange, right? We're sharing, we're learning, and we're giving, and we're receiving. It's a back and forth. And the moon is in a square to Neptune. So there may be just some little, niggling doubts and things in your mind about what's happening around you. Give into the pleasure of the day, give into the socialness of the day. Venus will be also in a trine to the moon, another little inkling of the pleasantness underlying the day. And Venus will also be, or I mean, the moon will also be in a sextile to Mercury. So Monday and Sunday, great days, pleasant days. Saturday, a little bit of an iffiness. Today, not a bad day at all. So, as we look ahead at the weekend, the only fly in the ointment, if you will, with Mercury going into these different places, squaring the moon and also sextiling the moon over the weekend, there may be some issues with transportation. So, if you're taking a flight somewhere, if you're driving somewhere, be aware there may be slowdowns. There could be changes in your schedule. Luckily, Mercury is not retrograde, so we don't have to deal with mix-ups so much. But just know that there may be some, things about slowing down, being more careful out there on the roads for the weekend. Nothing bad though. Tuesday morning, excuse me, we begin that day with the moon having been in void of course from 11:38 p.m. Monday night to 5:04 a.m. Tuesday morning in void of course. And that will be typically, so for you on the East Coast, that'll end about 8 o'clock in the morning. And as you get into work, you're going to find the moon is in Cancer. And so we start the week with nurturing energy, the next week with nurturing energy, etc. But we'll talk more about that on Tuesday morning. So reminder, I won't be here on Monday. I'm going to be in Friday Harbor, which is on an island uh, that away from me. And I'll be spending some time with my son, who I haven't seen actually since about middle of July. So, oh, I guess when I got home, so end of July. So it'll be nice to see him. And anyway, let's take a look ahead now at September. September is a long month, really 30 days, but it's looking like 1, 2, 3, 4 full weeks. Maybe it just seems that way. I don't know. Looking at it on the page, right? It looks like it's a long month, lots of days. And how is that? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a perception I have, is because then when I look at August, August didn't seem so long, but it's a day longer. Who knows? Anyway, September. As I looked ahead at September, there's really only three things at most that jump out at me. And this is just a quick look ahead. We're not going to go day by day, certainly, because that's just too much. But the highlights, if you will. Saturn, yay, is going to turn back to direct motion. Now, that's yay if you've been doing the work, right? The inner work that Saturn has been proposing for you since last April when he turned to retrograde. And so here he is, September 6th. So Wednesday, is it? Thursday next week. He will move finally out of retrograde and into direct motion at about 2 degrees of Capricorn and start moving toward his friend buddy Pluto already in Capricorn, having been there now for a number of years. They won't meet up in a conjunction though until 2020, so we have some breathing room. But if you'll recall, Pluto has already been sitting in Capricorn, and it has been responsible for the structures in our reality, our infrastructures crumbling, for the upset in governments and in politics. And Pluto was also responsible for the economic downturn that we experienced right as he moved into Capricorn back in 2008, 9, and 10. And it will be amazing if we come through the duo, Saturn and Pluto, in this sign with intact systems, because I can't believe that would happen, right? I think our systems are crumbling slowly before our eyes. I think, you know, that saying where if you put a frog in water, in cold water, and bring it to a boil, he'll just stay there and boil to death. But if you put a frog in boiling water, he's going to jump out. I think if we had seen the handwriting on the wall back in October and November, I think it was, of 2007, about the economy, about our government, about the state of the union, that we probably would have addressed things in a completely different way. But now Saturn moving through those same degrees is going to bring back those same issues, the same issues with debt and credit, the same issues with mortgages, the same issues with the polarization in our government. And I don't know if any of you listened to Joe Biden's speech yesterday, or his eulogy of John McCain, but he said some pretty profound things about the disintegration of kindness and gentleness here in this country, the elder statesmanship that has always characterized our interactions with one another, even if we were of different political beliefs. But the political and the social air right now is like a bunch of freaking 2-year-olds out there, right? You did that, so I'm going to punish you over here. And it's just as ugly as it could possibly get. And now Saturn changing directions is going to bring that front and center. And those people who have been participating negatively out there in the world politically, in every way, are going to get their comeuppance, right? They've had their opportunity to see the light and change directions and get back on the joy bus. They haven't done it. Remember, Saturn was sitting at the gate of joy. They didn't get on the joy bus. If they didn't get on that bus, now they're going to pay the price, right? I don't know what that means exactly as it relates to politics, etc., because really that's just another point of contention. But it could mean a whole lot of changes coming up in the political dynamic as we head into the fall, as we head into the election season. And I want to remind you all that, remember, what was it, November? Oh, Mimi, you might remember the exact date. I think it's November 8th that Pallas Athena comes back to the degree of the sign that she was at when she was discovered. And this whole new energy of women claiming their power comes back at us right in our face, right? Um, it should be interesting, right? Should be an interesting time. Toward the end of the month of September, Pluto takes his turn at going forward and moves out of retrograde. Now, Pluto is a planet that spends about 5.5 months of the year in retrograde. So it's not like a huge change when he changes direction. But subtly, at least at first, subtly, the internal workings of things begin to shift to the outer world expression of it. So for the last 5 months, the things that we've sort of been seeing gathering out there on the horizon, but not yet expressed, open up and become expressed. So it'll be really interesting. October, I think, is going to be one of those really, really interesting and defining months. We'll have to look ahead then and watch carefully what's going on in October as Pallas prepares to return to her same position, as we're actually seeing Saturn and Pluto both in direct motion and what that means for the outer world, and Venus in her retrograde motion, hopefully causing us to return to what our values are. What are our values? Where have we let go of what we value? Important questions, right? It makes for November 6th. Yes, 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 yes. It was the 6th. Thank you, Mimi. I knew it was right because you and I had that conversation about it being election day and interesting times coming, right? Coming up. The third big news, of course, is the autumn equinox occurring at 5:27 a or 6:54, excuse me, p.m. on the 22nd of September, September 22nd. That same day, Jupiter is in a very favorable connection to Pluto. And I wouldn't doubt that there's something occurring that day that shows us the literal direction that the country will move in through the election cycle. The yeah, I'm not sure, but just watch that day, the day of the fall equinox at 6:54 p.m. This is East West Coast time. Um, when the sun moves into Libra, 0 degrees Libra. That's what characterizes the autumn equinox. And when we talk about the equinoxes and the solstices, when the reason they're so important, besides the fact it marks the passage of time and the passage of a season, is that in astrology, they anchor the angles in a chart, the ascendant, the descendant, and the icy and the midheaven, right? So we have these angles that are very sensitive spots in an astrology chart. The natural angles are Aries and then Cancer and then Libra, and up here we have Capricorn. So those signs are very important. They're deal breakers and deal makers, if you will. And when you have planets in those signs, then you can expect that things are going to change. Why? Because they're the cardinal signs represented by that quality, meaning Aries is the cardinal sign representing fire, the element fire. So it always brings us the energy of creation. It brings us the energy of bursting forth new, something new, and action moving us forward. When we get to Cancer, it is water, it is cardinal water. It gives birth and rise to the concept of flow and being in the flow and being part of the emotional flow of the planet, the nurturing qualities, how we take care of one another. When we get to the autumn equinox, we are in Libra, 0 degrees Libra. Libra is cardinal air. It gives us the beginning of air sign energy, which is mental energy. And it is often changes in the wind, right? Changes in the wind. And I think this particular Libra ingress will be particularly full of change in the air, particularly because some of the pieces that we've just spoken about, Saturn and Pluto going direct, Venus changing to retrograde, and or in her retrograde zone, bringing that, crystallizing that for us. So once we get closer to that date, I'll pull a chart for that particular 3 month period, and we'll take a look at what's going on. And as far as that is concerned, that's the main energy for the month of September. That doesn't mean there aren't other things that pop up on a daily basis, because certainly other planets are going to be coming into focus on a daily basis. But those are the three biggies for the entire of the month. Let's see. Anybody have any questions? It was very moving, the watch. Are you talking about the eulogy that Biden gave? I think that's what we were talking about at the time. Good morning, Kristen. November 3rd. Tina, what's up about November 3rd? Is that your birthday? I know that Scorpio is prevalent in your chart. I just can't remember what sign you are. But those of you who have birthdays then from October 19th through November 3rd, you're going to want to pay attention to what's happening in the chart on your solar return. I think that's all I have for today. Yes, the eulogy. Okay, great. I thought that's what you were talking about. So we have a pretty awesome weekend ahead. I don't see any major bumps along the way. Just Saturday, just something kind of scritchy about that day. Um, Watch for a notice for me either through your email or here on the Facebook page about the link to the produced video from yesterday, and you'll be able to take that link, and I would suggest you download it to your own computer. um, that way you have access to it as long as you'd like. And I think that's all I have for today. I did enough talking last night. This morning, I'm kind of talked out. Unless anybody has any questions, you can question anything that's coming up, anything that you're feeling. How about anything from the workshop last night or webinar last night? Any questions at all before I take off? Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Hold the phone. I'm going to pull a card for us looking ahead at the month of September. How's that? All right. I should just keep this on my desk, but I have a whole basket full of cards down here on the floor next to my desk. I mean, literally, there's probably 25 decks in there. I collected them. I'm using our favorite Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. And so I'm going to just tune in and look for a card for us that represents, I will, Debbie, that represents the energies for September or anything else that we need to know for that matter. And I will, Wesley will be happy to hear that you're doing good. Ah, nice card. Ooh, card number 29, which is an 11, a master number, and it came out upright. And it says, breathe, breathe. Beautiful little angel with spirit right there in her midsection. I don't know if you can really see that in the card, but the beautiful card number 29 and 29 upright. So we are going to read all of the card except for the protection part of it. The essential meaning of this card for us for September is patience, waiting, going slowly, wellness, meditation, trust. Patience in all things is called for right now. What do you need to do when you're in a rush? Slow down, of course. Meditate and trust. Breathe and repeat. Humans cannot exist without drawing breath. Now is the time to allow the life giving element of air to replenish your body, your being, and your very essence. Stop to smell the roses, breathe in the sunlight, and release the darkness, and miracles will appear. In the relationship message, it's don't be in too much of a hurry right now. The heart needs time to open. Take a breath and let nature take its course. Release constriction and anxiety, for there is no need for tension. Savor the moment, and the waiting won't prove difficult. Your heart knows what the ego often resists learning. Patience pays off in deep and meaningful ways. So, prosperity message for us. You have worked long and hard. Your dreams are coming to fruition, and you want to hurry things along. You are the slow one, moving languidly yet still progressing right now in a rhythm dictated by your authentic nature, the essence of your dream, and the will of the universe. Slow and steady wins the race. You will indeed win if you relax. Stay the course, trust your intuition, and breathe. That's a great message for all of us manifesting generators out there who tend to want to rush the universe, who want to see so far ahead that we want to take and leap to the next level without taking the trip, right? We want to jolt ahead and not stand where we are in the moment and take the next step that's provided for us, revealed to us in the moment. That's probably the most difficult thing I have in my own life, and the most difficult thing I deal with in counseling counseling and coaching people with their human design is the generators who want it now, who want everything now. But the steps only get revealed when you're complete with step that you're on. So it can be very hard for especially the generator types, but manifesting generators, they're sort of designed to jump ahead anyway and skip steps. But what they end up doing is leaping out there, throwing out a bunch of, what do I always say? Throwing out a bunch of spaghetti, at the wall to see what sticks. And in other words, they may try to do a lot of things, but literally only, a couple of those things were really meant for them. So they can waste a lot of time chasing a lot of tails before they get to where they were really meant to be. Where if they would just relax and sit back a little bit and let the steps be revealed, it would be a much easier road. Following your type and your strategy. Jeez, and your authority, following your authority. Let's see. Lovely card. Mimi says, I do feel we ought to aim to trust the universe for September. I believe you are right. I believe you are absolutely right. I actually, this is too funny that that word trust keeps coming up at me. I want to show you this gigantic book I have. Ugh, look how thick this is. And it's a hardback, so it's very heavy. And it's called The Secret Language of Destiny, your complete personology guide to finding your life purpose. Totally forgot I even had this book. And I pulled it out the other day because during my Gene Keys ambassador call, community call last weekend, I don't know how we got on the subject of it. And I went, oh, yeah, I know I was born in the week of magic. So I came back to find what my karmic information was. And I realized that I was born on the axis of trust, learning to trust. That is my hardest path forward, is learning to trust. And so for fun, maybe one day next week, I'll pull out a couple of different people's things from the Destiny book and we'll look at that. If I don't even know if you can get this book anymore. It is a giant book. I don't even know where. I think I was gifted this book. Usually I write who gifted it to me, but I did not. But there you have it. Secret Language of Destiny. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Be watching later for the recording from yesterday's webinar. I wish you all a wonderful weekend. Breathe, begin the process, enjoy breath, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the last 3-day weekend of the summer. And I will see you all Tuesday morning. Mwah! Much love to everybody. Bye for now.